Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. This is an introduction to Isadora. My name's Sam Meech. I'm a video artist. I've been using Isadora for over 10 years to do projection mapping, interactive installation, performance. I think it's a great tool. It's a very easy tool to get to grips with. You don't have to be a programmer. It's a node-based interface, which means you simply drag stuff out, plug it in, and see what happens. So this first video is just going to be looking at the interface. We're going to talk through the different bits, and then we're going to import some media, and we're going to get some movies playing and see what we can do. So it's going to be a very basic introduction. So I've got my list here. So let's talk about that. So the first thing I'm going to do is just point out the bits of the interface. So top of the list is the media library. That's up here. You can see these folders here that say video files, sound samples, etc. So when we import media, it's going to go there. So you'll see that in a second. Below that, you can see the information panel, which says scene editor. This allows me to just roll over anything and it will tell me what I'm looking at. So that's a handy tip if you're ever stuck or curious as to what a thing does. The scene editor, this grey area that we're in at the minute, that's where we're going to put stuff and build our patches. And below that we've got a scene list. So you can see we've got one scene at the minute, that blue tab that says untitled. So if I double click that and type 1, so this is going to be scene 1. So as we build up different patches, they can go in separate scenes and that scene list should get full. Top left here we've got toolboxes. You've got different sets of modules there. We've got video effects, sources, renderers, some composer plugins, calculation, audio, and in each of those toolboxes you've then got a list. So we can see the video effects one, we've got quite a long list. These are the modules. Now they're called actors. So the language is from theatre. So actors go into the scene. When the scene is ready, you can send it to the stage. So the stage is actually the projector, or which would be your second display. At the minute we can't see the stage, and that's because we have to tell Isadora to show the stage. So I'm going to just go into the stage settings. So before I do that, let's switch over to composition so we can see a bit more. So the stage settings are in this menu here, output and the stage setup. I should say I'm using Isadora 3 here. So this window is a new part of Isadora version 3. So if you can't see a stage on this list here, stage 1, you might have to click to add a new stage. I think by default it should be there. This tells you here the stage 1 settings, where you're going to send the stage to. So I got second display, I could have it hooked up to, but I'm actually going to send it to display 1, and I'm going to choose to preview it so you can see a smaller version as well when I'm working. And I'm going to just come up to this menu here. You can see I can set my default preview size. So I'm going to just check that it's set to percentage of actual, and I'm happy with 25% there. So I'm going to close that. So now I'm going to go to output, and usually I would say show stages, and that would bring up this menu that says essentially you're about to go full screen. I don't want to go full screen. Instead I want to force a stage preview, which brings up this little window. So I'm going to put that over here just above my head. So we've got our stage showing. Now we need to bring some stuff in. Before I do that though, I'm just going to save my file and just talk a little bit about file settings. So I'm going to save the file, and I've got it in, made a little folder here. I'm going to call it Izzy Basics. And if I just show you the folder where I've got this, so this is my project folder, and in here we've got the Isadora file, and then below that I've got a folder of media. So these are where I'm going to keep all my assets, and in there I've got 2 subfolders. I'm quite fussy. I like to keep things, you know, my peas and carrots separate, as it were. So we've got movies and pictures. The idea being that as I work on this project, the media I use can just go into that media folder, and it's just next to, it's all contained within that larger project folder with the Isadora file, so that if I move the project anywhere, then it all goes together. It's a bit like working on a website or an InDesign. Isadora links to all these files, so you want to keep them together. So that's it. I've got my file saved. So now we can import some media. So I'm going to go to File and Import Media. Let's navigate to that Movies folder, and I'm just going to click and drag, or click and select all of those, and click Open. And they should come now into this media library, and you can see each of them has a number. So what's great about Isadora is that it links to stuff, it calls it by number rather than having you having to remember file names and things. And you can reorder these, so I can move that planet up to number 5 and switch the numbers around. But the point is, the numbers give us a lot of flexibility in terms of how we call and use the media.